What is up, you guys? It's Finn, and today I want to talk to you about something very important to me, and that is the tool of patience. If you're transitioning, you have to learn patience no matter what. There is nothing you can do that is going to speed up your transition super dramatically. If you are medically transitioning, it is going to take a long time. If you are socially transitioning, it's going to take a long time to get people to properly gender you. It sucks that it has to be this way, but it is. So here is my advice on how to deal with that. Before I even get into the tools of how to be patient, I want to talk about why it's so hard to be patient, especially for our generation. We do live in a generation of instant gratification, and I'm talking about millennials specifically. This isn't me shitting on millennials or saying baby boomers are better, God no, but it is important to point out. The internet really provides us with all the instant gratification we could ever need. If you want to watch a movie, you can download it, it's here in seconds, you're watching it. You want to feel productive? Well, you don't have to invest your time and patience into a huge goal anymore. You can just play a video game and unlock a bunch of achievements. This makes me sound really bitter, but I'm not. I do all of these things too. I'm just exploring why we are the way we are in this generation. This is why school seems so boring to us. Aside from the fact that it's just fucking boring, you have to invest a bunch of time into something for a big payoff at the end, or maybe a not so big payoff if you're me. Instead of doing something like, say, playing Pokemon, where you get achievements as you go, and it's constant, and you're just used to, I hate using this term, but getting a trophy all the time. And this isn't some commentary on everybody getting a trophy either, okay? I'm just trying to explain. The point I'm trying to make is humans naturally lean towards being more productive, but instant gratification means that you don't have to be patient to get that payout anymore. However, for something like transitioning, you do have to be patient because it takes fucking forever. Okay, so now that I've set this up for like 5 fucking minutes, let's get into how to actually be patient. The biggest thing I've learned is that putting a little bit of effort every day into something transition related is going to have a huge payoff in the end. Now, everybody's transition looks different, but here's what mine looks like. The first thing I wanted to do was start T, and of course there was a waiting period to get my letter for T and all of that. So what I did every day was I called around town and I talked to all the therapists, and I got a good sense of who was going to give me that T letter the fastest. Now, I know that sounds like it totally contradicts what I'm saying about being patient, but for me personally, I knew I was ready for T, so I was taking the steps to get that as fast as possible in a safe way. So I did that, I grinded out my therapy sessions, and I got my T letter within a few months. Now, not everybody is able to do this. You might be underage in an unsupportive environment, you might not have the money, so what you have to do is put other parts of your transition first. And if you're in a really unsupportive environment and there's absolutely nothing you can do until you turn 18, distract yourself. For me, I knew nothing was going to happen before I turned 18, and I even waited a couple of years after I turned 18 to really start exploring it. Those years were horrible, I suffered a lot, I dissociated, I'm never gonna get them back, and it sucks, but you know what? I've moved on, I've started my transition, I waited, and it was worth it. There are going to be days of dysphoria so bad that you're gonna have horrible, horrible thoughts. I had those too, and at the time, it was the worst thing ever. But now that I'm here, I can go back and look at all of that pain I experienced and see it as a blessing in disguise. And it took a long time for me to get to this point, but I'm here and I'm so grateful. Every day of pain and discomfort in my body that I felt meant that I was going to appreciate this body more. And you know, I haven't had top surgery yet, I still have a very feminized body figure, and I still have bad days of dysphoria, but I can see it and I can say, you know what? One day it's not going to be like this. One day I'm going to be happy in my body, and I'm going to appreciate it so much more than cis people do, because I waited and I grinded for it and I worked for it, and nobody achieved this for me but me. I'm going to get back to talking to the people who can do something about their transition, but it seems overwhelming and daunting right now. The most important thing that I realized is that time is going to pass no matter what you do. In a year, would you rather be progressed in your transition, or would you rather be exactly where you are right now? For me right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to box out my figure a little bit, and I'm trying to lose some fat and gain some muscle. So what I've done is I've put myself on a reasonable diet that I can actually follow, a reasonable gym schedule that I know I can follow through with, and I'm just putting in a little bit of work every day. What keeps me going is that I know the payoff is going to be so sweet, because I put so much time into it and I did it all myself, and nobody is going to be able to take that away from me. I know it's really tempting to just sit there and let the bad thoughts in and think about how you'll never be where you want to be, but that just isn't true. If I did it, you can too. And finally, I just want to say one last word to the people who are maybe questioning or do realize they're trans but don't want to transition because they feel like they're going to hurt their friends and family. This is something that I really needed to hear when I was pre-T, and I was having doubts and fears so bad that I was seriously considering not taking testosterone, and then once I took testosterone, I was considering stopping. I thought my transition was so selfish. I thought that I was hurting everybody around me. I thought that I was inconveniencing everybody everybody. I felt like such a mess, but as I got into my transition more and I started connecting with people on a level that I have never experienced before, I realized something. You have to be a good person to yourself before you can be a good person to others. You have to take steps to love yourself before you can fully love another person. And this isn't me saying that if you don't love yourself that you're not deserving of love or that you can't love others. I know how difficult it is to love yourself, and I know that not everybody gets there in a short amount of time. It took me 21 years before I even began to see a semblance of loving myself. But the more you grow to love yourself, the more beauty you will see in this world. The more you're you, the easier it's going to be to connect to other people. You have to go through your own struggles to be able to empathize with and help others. The hardest thing about transitioning is putting yourself first. We live in a society that constantly tells us that we need to put everybody else above ourselves. But let me ask you this, is it really worth being miserable and depressed and suicidal just to not inconvenience other people who don't love you for who you really are? I hate to tell you this, but if there are people who don't want to be in your life because you're transitioning, they don't love you the same way that you love them. But there are others that will love you just the way you are. The more that you are unapologetically you, the more you will attract right people into your life. And I know it's hard to take that first step when everything is so uncertain, but I promise you it's worth it. Once you start living for yourself and not other people, that is when you truly start to live. I was scared too. I was taking a total leap into darkness. I had no fucking idea what was gonna happen, but you know what? I have made real connections with other people for the first time in my life. All of my friends agree that I'm just happier now, that I'm a better person, I'm nicer, I'm less angry, and it's all because I stopped repressing who I was. I stopped using all of my energy trying to keep the real me down. So my advice to all you guys out there is just be true to yourself and be patient. It's worth it. I hope this helped somewhat. I feel like this video was a mess like all my other videos, but I really wanted to talk about this because it was really important to me. So if it helped you, please share with other trans people out there that you think this might help. I would really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and Happy New Year.